The ocean was calm that morning, but something deep beneath the waves was not. Captain Ethan Brooks stood on the deck of a quiet research vessel in the middle of the Pacific. He had retired from the Navy 5 years ago, thinking he would spend his last working years studying ocean currents and deep-sea creatures. But lately the sea had begun to act strangely. For 3 nights in a row, the instruments had picked up faint vibrations coming from far below the ocean floor. At first everyone thought it was a small earthquake, but the rhythm was too perfect, too steady, like a machine waking from sleep. Dr. Laura Pierce, a marine scientist, sat inside the control room, staring at the sonar screen. The readings pulsed like a heartbeat. She frowned and said softly, "This isn't natural." Ethan entered the room, wiping sea spray from his face. "Tell me it's not another false alarm." Laura shook her head. "It's real. It started again at the exact same depth, same pattern. It's almost like someone down there is turning something on and off." Ethan leaned over her shoulder. The display showed a bright pulse echoing from the bottom of the Mariana Trench, more than 10 kilometers below the surface. He frowned. "There's nothing down there except rock and pressure." Laura looked at him. "What if that's not true?" They shared a quiet moment. The sea outside groaned as if it had a voice of its own. 2 hours later, they sent a drone down into the depths. Its camera streamed live footage to the screen. The descent was long and dark, the pressure increasing every minute. Then the light caught something smooth and metallic. Laura leaned forward. "Pause the feed." The camera froze. A curved metallic surface reflected the drone's light. There were markings on it, symbols not used in any known language. Ethan felt his heartbeat quicken. "That can't be part of any ship," he said. "No one has ever built something like that at this depth." Laura's hands trembled. "Captain, I think we've just found something that's not supposed to exist." Before they could react further, an alarm went off. The drone's signal was lost. The feed turned black. Ethan sighed. "We lost it." Laura nodded. "Completely. Something interfered with the signal." That night the base grew tense. Technicians argued over the data. Some said it was a natural magnetic anomaly. Others whispered about secret military projects. Ethan couldn't sleep. He walked along the shore, listening to the sound of waves breaking against the rocks. The moon reflected on the water, peaceful and unaware of the secrets it hid. Just after midnight, the base lights flickered. A low hum filled the air. Every screen in the control center turned black for a moment. Then a single line of text appeared on each monitor. "Protocol eclipse. Activate." No one knew what it meant. The words disappeared as quickly as they came. Then the systems rebooted, showing normal data again. Laura called Ethan to the control room. Her face was pale. "That message wasn't from our system," she said. "It came from an old Earth Defense Network frequency, one that's been inactive for more than 100 years. Ethan frowned. "You mean some old government code?" She nodded. "Exactly. But that network was shut down after the last war. There's no reason it should still be running." Before Ethan could answer, the seismographs started to shake violently. The building trembled. Everyone rushed outside. The ocean roared like thunder. At first it looked like a massive undersea quake, but then the water began to rise, not in waves, but in columns of light. Blue beams shot up from the depths, cutting through the night sky. The air felt charged with static. One of the technicians shouted, "It's coming from the trench." Ethan grabbed his binoculars. Far on the horizon, something was pushing up from the sea. The glow grew brighter until it was almost blinding. Laura stood beside him, speechless. That's a structure. It's not natural." The ocean split apart as something enormous began to rise. Water poured off its sides like waterfalls. Metallic plates reflected the moonlight. It looked like a mountain of steel coming out of the deep. The ground shook again and alarms blared from the base. Ethan yelled for everyone to get to higher ground. They ran to the observation ridge where they could see the entire scene. What they saw left them in stunned silence. A massive ship was rising from the ocean. Its hull was dark gray, marked with faded symbols of Earth's old nations. It looked ancient but alive, humming with power. The top of the ship broke through the surface, sending waves crashing in every direction. Ethan could barely speak. "This thing, it's human-made." Laura looked at him, her eyes wide. "Captain, I think this is Project Leviathan." Ethan turned toward her. "What's that?" She swallowed hard. "A classified project from over 100 years ago. Rumors said it was a defense program designed to protect Earth in case of alien invasion, but no one ever found proof it existed. Ethan stared at the ship. Well, it exists. The ship continued to rise until its full length was visible, longer than any aircraft carrier, towering like a floating city. The ocean around it boiled as massive turbines roared beneath the surface. Lights began to flicker along its hull one by one, as if the ship were waking up. From the control center, they received another transmission, but this time it was clear and strong. A male voice spoke through the speakers, calm and steady. Command authentication accepted. Earth home ship Leviathan reactivation complete. Awaiting command input. The entire room fell silent. Ethan looked around at the others. Did it just say awaiting command input? Laura nodded slowly. It's waiting for someone to take command. Ethan rubbed his forehead. This ship was buried for over a century. Who would it even recognize as commander? Before anyone could answer, the voice spoke again. Authorized personnel detected. Captain Ethan Brooks. Welcome back. Everyone turned to stare at him. Ethan felt cold all over. What? I've never heard of this thing. Laura's voice shook. It knows your name. The sea around the ship grew calm. The glowing lights turned from blue to white. Then the ship's engines went silent, leaving only the sound of waves. Ethan couldn't take his eyes off the giant vessel. It's been sleeping under us all this time, he whispered. And now it's awake, Laura exhaled slowly. If this ship really is what I think it is, then someone built it for a reason. Maybe they knew one day we'd need it. Hours later, reports came in from around the world. Satellites confirmed the existence of the massive ship in the Pacific. News channels called it a miracle, a mystery, a doomsday weapon. Some believed it was alien technology. Others said it was an old human experiment. Governments demanded answers. In orbit, unknown eyes were watching. A small alien probe hidden beyond the moon sent transmissions back to its masters. The Galactic Council, far away among the stars, received the data within hours. The image of the rising ship appeared before them, and silence filled the chamber. The Council had always considered Earth harmless, a primitive world still learning spaceflight. But now, the image showed a vessel that rivaled their own warships. One of the alien leaders whispered, "Impossible. Humans should not have this level of technology." Another replied, "If this is true, Earth has broken the Galactic Treaty." Back on Earth, Ethan stood in the base's main control room, surrounded by confusion and fear. The voice from the ship remained silent now, waiting. Laura worked on decrypting old files linked to Project Leviathan. She found a line of text buried deep in the records. It said, "In the event of global threat, Leviathan shall awaken to protect its origin world." Ethan read the words out loud. Protect its origin world? That means Earth. He looked at Laura. Something must have triggered it. Maybe a signal, maybe a threat from space. Laura nodded slowly. Or maybe someone out there woke it on purpose. The sea outside shimmered in faint blue light again. The giant ship floated silently, majestic and terrifying, as if watching over the planet that had built it and then forgotten. Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. He turned to Laura. "Get me a secure line to the Global Defense Network. We need to know if anything unusual is happening in orbit." Laura began typing. "Do you think the aliens are coming?" Ethan didn't answer right away. He watched the horizon, where the faint glow of the Leviathan still cut through the darkness. Finally, he said quietly, "If they are, we're not defenseless anymore." Above them, the clouds began to part, and the stars shone brighter than ever. Somewhere out there, eyes were watching. Somewhere out there, the universe was about to learn that Earth was not as helpless as everyone believed. The old world was gone. A new chapter had begun, and the silence before the storm was finally over. The morning after the Great Rising, the world changed forever. The ship that had come out of the ocean now floated like a dark mountain in the middle of the Pacific. The water around it shimmered with faint blue light, and the air buzzed with quiet energy. Everyone on the planet had seen the images by now. News drones hovered above the water, taking endless pictures. Governments sent ships to observe it. Some called it a miracle of ancient technology. Others whispered that it was a weapon from another time. At the oceanic base, Captain Ethan Brooks stood by the large window, staring at the massive structure. His face was calm, but his thoughts were restless. He had seen warships before, but nothing even close to this. The ship was enormous, longer than the tallest city skyscrapers, wide as a floating city and alive with hidden systems. The name on its hull was now visible. EHS Leviathan. Dr. Laura Pierce joined him, holding a data tablet. "We've been scanning the ship all night," she said softly. "It's active, but it's not responding anymore." After that last message, it went silent again. Ethan nodded. "It said it recognized me. But I've never heard of this project. My name must be part of some old access file." Laura looked worried. "That may be true. But the system didn't just call you by name, it welcomed you. That means the recognition file is live, not just historical." Ethan turned toward her. "So you're saying this ship is waiting for me to command it?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, it seems to think you're the one who's supposed to wake it." Before they could say more, a new face appeared on the main screen of the control room. It was Commander Jason Ward, a man in his 40s wearing the uniform of the Earth Security Division. He had sharp eyes and spoke with calm authority. "Captain Brooks," he said, "this is Commander Ward, Earth Defense Liaison. You've been out of the service for years, but I need you to come back for one mission." Ethan frowned. "I'm not sure I understand what's going on, Commander." "That thing out there, what is it?" Jason looked serious. "That ship is part of Project Leviathan. It was built in secret more than 100 years ago. Only a few people knew it existed. It was meant to be Earth's last defense if we were ever attacked by alien powers." Laura stepped forward. "You're telling us the governments of the past built that monster under the ocean and just forgot it?" Jason shook his head. "Not forgot, hidden. We knew there would come a time when the galaxy would test us. Earth was never given a seat at the Galactic Council, only observer status. We were considered primitive. Leviathan was built to change that." Ethan crossed his arms. "So it's a weapon?" Jason nodded slowly. "It's more than that. It's a mobile command city powered by fusion cores and designed to house thousands. It was supposed to be commanded by the best from every nation. But before the final activation, the project was buried to keep it from falling into the wrong hands." Ethan glanced out the window again. The massive ship loomed over the waves like a sleeping god. "And now it's awake," he said quietly. "But why now?" Jason's voice grew low. "Because Earth has been detected. The Galactic Council intercepted our deep space signals years ago. They think we've reached a level of development that threatens their balance of power. A fleet is on its way here to inspect our planet. Leviathan's awakening wasn't random. It's an automatic defense response." The room fell silent. Laura finally spoke. "Then it's not a coincidence. The ship knew they were coming." Jason nodded. "Exactly. That's why we need you, Captain. Leviathan's systems are refusing all other access except yours. For some reason, your genetic signature matches the command protocol." Ethan looked at the commander, unsure. "You're saying this ship that was built 100 years ago was waiting for someone like me?" Jason replied, "It was waiting for a leader it could trust, and right now that's you." Hours later, Ethan, Laura, and Jason boarded a transport shuttle bound for the Leviathan. The flight over the glowing ocean felt unreal. The closer they got, the more they realized how massive the ship really was. Its outer armor was scarred, as if it had fought battles before it ever reached the sea. The landing platform extended from its surface like a metallic cliff. The shuttle touched down and the doors opened with a hiss. The air smelled faintly of salt and electricity. They stepped out, their boots echoing on the steel deck. Massive structures surrounded them. Defense turrets, communication arrays, hangar doors large enough to hold entire aircraft. Laura looked around in awe. "This place is like a floating fortress." Ethan walked toward a sealed entrance that opened automatically as he approached. The same calm voice they had heard before filled the air. "Welcome aboard, Captain Ethan Brooks. Command authentication confirmed. It's Leviathan operational." Jason stared at him. "It really does recognize you." Inside, the corridors were dark but functional. The walls glowed with soft light as they walked. Everything looked untouched by time. The air systems hummed quietly, and their footsteps echoed down long metal hallways. They reached the bridge, a wide, circular chamber filled with consoles and hollow screens. A large window looked out over the endless ocean. In the center stood a raised platform surrounded by control panels. The voice spoke again. "Captain on the bridge, awaiting primary directives." Ethan stood there for a long moment. He had commanded ships before, but nothing like this. The air felt heavy with history. "Show me status reports," he said softly. The systems came to life instantly. Holographic displays filled the air with data. Reactor levels stable, shield arrays functional, weapons offline but ready for activation. Laura walked to one of the side consoles. These systems are far more advanced than anything we have today. Whoever built this, they used technology way ahead of their time. Jason nodded. It's not only human design. Some of these patterns look alien. Ethan frowned. Alien? You mean someone helped us build it? Jason hesitated. That's classified. But yes, there were theories that early human engineers were given certain blueprints by unknown sources. We never proved it. But the designs suggest hybrid tech, Laura whispered. So that's how humanity prepared for a future war no one knew would come. Ethan turned to the central control platform. Can we communicate with Earth's Defense Command? Jason activated the comms. Yes, sir. Channel open. The hologram of the Earth Defense Council appeared. 5 figures in military uniforms. Their faces were tense. One of them spoke. Captain Brooks, we are authorizing Leviathan under full operational control. The Galactic Council has detected the ship's activation. Several alien fleets are now converging toward the solar system. They are demanding an explanation for what they call an unauthorized war vessel. Ethan's jaw tightened. So the galaxy thinks we broke some law by defending ourselves? The officer nodded. Yes, they believe Earth should not have technology at this level. Laura stepped forward. But we didn't attack anyone. Why would they send warships? The hologram flickered. Because they fear what they do not control. Prepare for contact, Captain. They may not give us much time. The transmission ended. Jason looked at Ethan. We have one chance to show them we are not their subjects. Ethan took a deep breath. Then we'll make sure they understand that Earth stands on its own. They spent the next hours reactivating systems. Massive turbines came online. Power surged through the ship like a heartbeat. The ocean around the hull churned as energy fields ignited. Laura ran diagnostics while Jason handled defense calibration. The Leviathan began to rise slowly from the water, its engines glowing a deep blue. Waves rolled out for miles. On every continent, people stopped what they were doing to watch. Cameras captured the moment humanity's greatest secret revealed itself to the world. As the ship broke through the clouds, satellites transmitted live footage across the planet. For the first time in history, Earth saw its own supercarrier ascend into the skies. Inside the bridge, Laura smiled faintly. It's beautiful, Ethan replied. It's more than that. It's hope. But their moment of awe was short. A warning tone echoed through the bridge. Jason checked the sensors. Contact detected. Multiple ships incoming from Mars orbit. Ethan turned to him. How many? 37. All alien signatures. Laura's heart pounded. They're already here. Jason looked grim. It's the Zelkath Dominion. They're the Council's enforcers. Ethan stared out the window. The sky was clear now, but somewhere beyond it war was coming. He clenched his fists. Power up shields. Prepare for possible engagement. The voice of Leviathan responded instantly. Defensive systems active. All weapons on standby. The great ship moved into orbit hours later, its engines silent but powerful. Below it, Earth glowed blue and peaceful, unaware of how close danger had come. From the void of space, alien ships appeared like sharp shadows, their hulls dark and cold. They formed a ring around the planet. A transmission came through, harsh and commanding. This is Fleet Commander Theric of the Zelkath Dominion. Earth is in violation of the Galactic Treaty. You will deactivate your warship immediately or face destruction. Ethan listened in silence, then replied calmly, This ship belongs to Earth. We will not stand down. There was a pause. Then the alien voice replied coldly, So be it. The transmission ended. Laura looked at Ethan. What do we do now? He looked out the window at the stars and the distant glimmer of alien engines. We hold the line, he said. Leviathan didn't wake up to surrender. The engines roared as the ship adjusted position, ready for battle.